Hey friends, and welcome back to the Reddit Rainbow, y'all. Okay, I'm not gonna hold y'all. If you are new here, I highly encourage you to start at the beginning, use the comment, start at the beginning because I am not recapping. But if you are all caught up, let's keep going. Oh my goodness. I have an update to the story called Second Update that is completely deleted. My 30 female husband, 33 male, accused me of moida out of the blue. How do I salvage this? Okay, now look at this. It is all just screenshots because it is deleted, okay? And I do apologize for the inconvenience in advance, but in the meantime, though, grab your vibes and delights, listen up. Let's listen to this insanity, okay? Hi everyone, me again. Both times I've posted here, it has paid off hugely in terms of helping me unravel this mess, so I hope it's third time lucky. For the past few weeks, I've been trying to figure out why my husband suddenly accused me of unaliving his sister, who passed away in an accident at home 6 months ago. It still feels as ridiculous now as it did then. When Laura passed away, we found out that she had about $3,000 in hidden debt. It was odd because she was pretty open about her finances, but it wasn't out of character for her to overspend, so I hadn't really thought about it since. A comment on my last post prompted me to look more closely at money stuff, and a message to my husband from Laura asking about a payment stuck out. I'd initially assumed it was about a car issue she'd had a few weeks before she had passed away, but Luke definitely paid at the garage when they picked it up because we talked about it after she dropped him home, and it didn't occur to me when I first looked through. The messages supposedly proved I was an unaliver, so I had been looking for something scandalous, right? The message about payment was the only thing I had at that point, and I had no idea what it meant, so I took a chance. I told his mother I knew about the money and that if he didn't get in touch with me that day, I would make sure everybody else did too. He called me straight away. Ooh, damn. Bluffing, high key. Oh my gosh. Okay, he called me straight away and asked me over to his parents' house to talk. He looked dreadful, and the first thing he asked me was whether I was happy now that all of his friends hate him. Sir, that was your fault. Like, you're the one who made that fake ass post. What are you talking about? I just shared the receipts. You feel me? Like, what the fuck? I told him I don't give a fuck. Okay, I don't give a fuck about his relationships, that I was there for answers. It turns out that my husband told the coroner's office that he was secretly helping Laura pay off some of her debt because she was embarrassed and struggling to keep up with her lifestyle. I assume it didn't seem suspicious because of her passing was clearly an accident, and that's what they were investigating. In reality, he took out loans and store cards in her name, and she somehow found out a few weeks before she passed. Some guy he works with had apparently done it before and arranged it all, and if Laura hadn't found out, he claims that they could have written it all off without her ever knowing, and when she did find out, the guy left him high and dry. Quell surprise. I'm trying. I am trying to not be surprised, because how can you be so egregiously stupid? So he had to pay it off because the dude left him high and dry, and I'm inclined to believe that's the gist of what happened, but I am shocked by my husband would do something this stupid, right? Like, what, can you imagine how she feels? Like, imagine being married to someone for your whole life, being like, this is your, she was saying this was her destiny, right? And then realize your destiny is this dense, like this dumb, like, oh my gosh, OP, I'm so sorry. When she passed so soon after, his brief and apparently genuine suspicion was that she had told me about it that day. We argued and I unalived her. He couldn't explain why I would unalive someone because they were a victim of fraud, right? I told y'all. But according to him, he felt guilty in the immediate aftermath and his brain made it fit. I mostly believe this, but he tried launching into a more weaponized therapy speak at that point, so I cut the topic off. Ew, also, ew. A few months after his sister's passing, Luke received a letter from a credit company, not even the police, saying that he was being investigated. Laura didn't have much, so her debts were less than 10K, even with the fraud, so they were mostly written off. Something obviously flagged against my husband during that process, and I don't know how or why. When the letters got more threatening, he believed the investigation would reopen the inquest and that he would be accused of fraud, perjury, and because of his previously unknown motive, possibly moida. He claims the only thing the company investigating him actually knows is that the fraud came from our address. So accusing me would make it impossible to prove because it would be a coin toss. Let me read that again. So accusing me would make it impossible to prove because it would be a coin toss. His words as to which one of us took out the credit in Laura's name. If I could just... bring it back to elementary school terminology, okay? And I'm so sorry to do this. Whoever smelt it, dealt it, I do believe it goes. So you called attention to it. Why wouldn't they just look at you? You know what I'm saying? Like the projections, y'all be... The OP, I'm so sorry that this is you realizing your partner was stupid, dude. I'm so sorry. That was worth our entire marriage to him and my reputation in the community we have been a part of for our entire lives. He says self-preservation kicked in and nothing else mattered when he thought about what could happen to him. Wow. Just throwing away your entire life. Like, oof. When I asked him how his witness statement fits into his plan because it proved he lied either way by acknowledging he knew about the debt and paying it, he froze for roughly 1,000,000 years before saying he hadn't thought of that. Obviously, my response was to ask why if he hadn't thought of it, and he specifically said it was a lie he needed to cover earlier in the conversation. Suddenly, he's sobbing, and his parents are rushing in to ask me to leave. Oh, so they were listening. I forgot they were even at his parents' house, right? I was in tears at that point, asking how the fuck he could do this to me over something so stupid, and how much do his parents actually know about this, as his mom was pushing me out of their house. All she said was that she couldn't have this conversation with me, so that means a lot. She knows a lot, and she was crying too, but wouldn't say another word. I am now 99% sure the fucker who was trying to frame me, not for her death, but for the fraud, he was going to claim that he was lying for me in the coroner's interview, right? If he wrapped it all up as quietly paying her off on my behalf, then genuinely suspecting me of her moida, it would protect his reputation and point the finger at me. It just doesn't make sense any other way. Is my husband trying to frame me to weasel out of his actions? And how do I get to the bottom of this? I'm obviously open to theories because Reddit is the only reason I got this far in the first place. That being said, please don't come up with conspiracies about her passing in the comments. It is upsetting. She was wearing shitty old slippers and walking down the stairs with a cup of tea. She slipped and hit her head on the windowsill. This was never any kind of mystery. It was someone's life and she passed away. Just because maybe a butterfly flapped its wings somewhere, I don't know, but it's hard enough to accept without having guesses shouted at me on the internet while my marriage falls apart. Wow. All right, guys, that's all the time I have for this one, and I cannot wait to hear your guys' comments because holy jeez. All right, guys, I cannot wait to hear your guys' thoughts. What the fuck? And the account is deleted, and I think this is the last update. Oh my gosh, guys. All right. Well, anyway, guys, I'll catch y'all later, and I cannot wait to read your thoughts. All right. Damn.